How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Senseonics. I know it's been a while since I've given you guys an update. I've been taking a look at the price action, and to keep you inside of the loop, I'm going to give you my thoughts. So I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we had timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is a technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why it's important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Senseonics. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $1.73, being down 6.49%. On the low, it tested $1.71, and then on the high, testing $1.80. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 4.737 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 9.415 million shares. So we did have below average volume on the day, and it's part of the reasons why we've seen some weakness in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is at 38.81. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 200-day, the 100-day, the 50-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. So it is very clear to see that Senseonics is in a bear market. It is trading below all of our major moving averages. So as far as for the price action, if we continue to see some weakness inside of the markets, we tested a low of $1.71. So pulling back further, we could start testing areas right here around $1.60. And we can also get down to lows here around $1.40, especially going into next week where we're going to have continued volatility. Another thing that I want to bring to your attention as well, we do have a gap that needs to be filled, and we can see to fill this gap in, it is around $1.20. So this is an area you're definitely going to want to keep an eye on, and it's part of the reasons why I haven't gone in with another entry as of yet. I want to be patient. I want to see how this stock plays and how it fares out as far as going into next week, because we do have the Fed meeting. But if we want to see some strength or see some sort of a turnaround, Senseonics needs to come back to $2 and get back to the 21-day EMA around $2.02. The moment we can start holding support in this area and we have demand buyers coming in, that's where I can look forward to seeing that move up. And we also have a gap that needs to be filled right here around $2.41. So this is another area you're going to want to keep an eye on. So let's see how it performs going into tomorrow, but I'm going to be expecting for $1.60 to hold up. So now let's take a look at the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Senseonics. As we scroll down further on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So we're going to take a look at the recent filings for March. So we have Murrayfield Fund Retail Class that purchased 13 shares. We also have Vanguard Growth and Income Fund Investor shares that purchased 700. We also have FLDFX Balance Fund Retail Class that purchased 2 shares. They have to file that, but that's what we have for March so far. And then when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 27.16%. And then for the off-exchange short volume, it is at 879,880 shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 650,000, updated 12 minutes ago. And then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 15.12%. And then when we take a look at the history of the short volume, you can see for the close of the 8th, it's at 20.90. And then for the close of the 9th, being at 27.16. So what this shows us, Senseonics does continue to have short squeeze potential, but considering it used to be around 30 and as well as into the 40s for the short volume, there is a big improvement there, which tells us the market sentiment has gotten a lot better for the stock. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Senseonics. So we can see on the inflow, it's at 1,368, and then on the outflow, it's at 1,307. And keep in mind, these numbers are in the thousands. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large, it was 0. On the medium, it was 739. And then on the small, it was 629. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see it was 0 on the large. On the medium, it was 655, and then on the small, it was 652. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see clearly it is zeros down the board. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tends to represent the retail side, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more buying than we had selling. And of course, for the large, it represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had 0 on both sides. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 1.07%. So this is not too bad whatsoever. This means the majority of shareholders are holding on to their positions. You're not seeing a ton of trading happening, and it's not surprising considering the fact it does see low volume and we're not seeing a lot of activity, and we saw this clearly from the order flow. So let's get into the final thoughts and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for Senseonics, when it comes to the price action, here are some key levels we need to keep an eye on. We have a gap that needs to be filled to the downside at $1.20. When we had the recent sell-off, it got down to a low of $1.40. The low of the day was $1.71, with resistance being at $1.80. So if I was going to be going in for a swing trade opportunity, I would put my stop loss right around $1.50. For some people, it might even be around $1.40, but for myself, I would choose $1.50 since we did hold support at $1.71. And then what I would do, I'd want to see, could this stock go on an uptrend and get past resistance at $1.80 and make that move to $2. This is something that you want to make sure you add to your game plan. Have a strategy. Have you noticed that I gave you a good idea of what my entry is, what my stop loss is, and as far as for my exit, I'm going to be honest with you. I want to see this stock go to at least $2, and then I would think about, well, you know what, I might set my exit around 3. But if you are a long-term investor, you're going to have a different approach. Yes, you do want to have a solid entry, but you're looking forward to seeing this stock give you value over time. So while waiting on your position, looking forward to seeing if Senseonics can push up to $4, $5, and so forth. And from the current price level as where it's at, it does give you a lot of upside. So this is why I say it is very key to make sure you're paying attention to the market conditions, because depending how they are, it can give you that opportunity to get an entry that you're looking for instead of FOMOing into the play or buying at a point where as soon as when you buy, it goes red on you. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership, we could see institutions are continuing to load up on shares. Plus, on top of that, SENS does continue to have short squeeze potential, but one thing we have to understand, the short volume used to be in the 40% range and the 30% range. Now it is around 26%. So what this shows me right away, as far as for the overall market sentiment, it has gotten a lot more positive since the sell-off. So right away, what this tells me, shorts are not seeing a lot of upside to the downside. I hope I'm not confusing you there. Remember, if you are a short seller, you want to take advantage of when the stock pulls back, right? So as far as the downside is concerned, which is at $1.20, if we have buyers continually stepping in at $1.40, also seeing some demand at $1.60, they're going to be like, you know what, it's probably not worth it, but it would be better if this stock ran up to, let's say, about $3.50 or $4. Again, you have to think about the market on both sides, especially if you are a trader. And that's why I'm not shocked about the short volume going down. But again, since it's still above 21% or higher, which is the criteria we normally look for, it's part of the reasons why you want to keep this play on your watch list. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see how Senseonics performs going into tomorrow and as well as for next week. We'll be talking real soon.